Hi, I'm Alan Ross. I'm the managing editor of APC Media, or APC Technology Productions, Transformer Technology, Power Systems Technology. We are here at the RE Plus 2023 event in Las Vegas. This thing is huge. It seems like the battery storage people have come here. So we've got wind, solar, battery storage, and everything in between. But hope you enjoy these interviews. I love interviewing the technology of the future, and enjoy. My next guest is Max Accordino. He is the head of business development for Horizon Educational, and you are the
executive director of the newly founded H2GP Foundation.
The newly founded H2GP. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a minute. First of all, how long have you been in the industry? How long have you been around the industry?
I've been in the renewable energy industry kind of indirectly back in hospitality. I used to manage green hotels back in the day until COVID hit, and then I decided to switch careers and went more into the renewable energy education field. Always had a passion to do renewable energy, so I've been working with this company for about 4 years now.
Okay. Always got a passion for renewable energy. Tell me what you see happening in the renewable energy. Even this show, from last year to this year, has changed dramatically. Upstairs, it's battery storage, right? Last year it was solar, but you just see a lot of change. Now you also see integration. Talk to me a little bit about what you see in the industry.
I mean, the growth has just been spectacular. I mean, all around the world, renewable energy, climate change, it's a topic now, and people want to invest in it. They want to improve. They know that the mistakes we made in the past, we can't continue this if we want to have a strong future for our future kids, right? So what we've seen from last year, especially here at RE Plus, that was my first time exhibiting at this show, and a lot of solar, of course, a lot of battery technology. I didn't see a lot of hydrogen there. And what was really interesting this year is, one, it's doubled in size. We've also have a whole hydrogen and fuel cell section. And for me, my background being in hydrogen and fuel cells, the growth globally, talking about fuel cell cars, trucks, buses, all on the road, cars that are running on water. I never heard of this, until the last few years, and now everyone is knowing about it. And it's really been spectacular to see the growth here in the US, Australia, all over Europe. I mean, there's so much government funding going into it. All of a sudden, it's all just changed in the last 2-3 years.
Here's the funny thing about it. Right behind you, it says H2 Scan, Advanced Hydrogen Sensing. They are one of our sponsors. 2 years ago, there's no way that they would have been around. But now, as you said, hydrogen has come in there, so now the people that do that are our sponsors are. But the idea that I have one friend who says that we should have gone hydrogen before we went electric. We should have gone fuel cells before we tried to do, hydrogen fuel cells, not battery fuel cells. But it seems like we're at a tipping point for the overall industry, but now we're deciding who wins in terms of scale.
And I don't think we necessarily need to look at it as who wins. I mean, there's going to be multiple forms of energy that will help us advance into newer, greener technologies. Batteries, they will always be around. We've had them in our phones. We all know AA batteries. It's always something we're comfortable with. Hydrogen, it's new. We don't really know it. It's not something that you plug in a hydrogen stick into your remote growing up. You never had that. You always had AA batteries. That's why the topic is always there, I think. But hydrogen batteries, they will compete, but they're also going to support each other. Batteries are there for that low impact, we'll say quick driving, not heavy duty, is how I believe it, where the hydrogen, that'll carry it that extra mile, and that when you need to get that heavy duty trucking and busing, or you don't have time or the infrastructure to recharge for a couple of hours, or even 30 minutes off the road. If you're driving a truck and you're off 30 minutes on the road, that's 30 minutes where you could be making money. And so that's where I see really hydrogen coming in and allowing them to fuel their cars, trucks, buses, get them back on the road, planes as well in the future. Anytime it's sitting there, they're losing money. So they're not going to want to do that. That's what's pushing this forward.
So hydrogen as one component of the future, as you said, there will be a lot of different winners, but hydrogen is one component. Has taken, we started talking about this years ago, right? The Hindenburg set us back a long time,
That
right?
is true.
All the humanity of it. And so the idea that hydrogen can be, it seems to be the perfect thing. You take it out of water and you create oxygen, and hydrogen, and you breathe the oxygen and you use the hydrogen, it seems too good to be true. Why is it true?
I think that when it comes to hydrogen, just like it was with batteries, people are always saying, how do you get the hydrogen? How are batteries being made? They're mining lithium, right? That was always a hot topic of, okay, what to do with after recycling the batteries. That electric vehicles aren't necessarily the greenest vehicles. Just because they're electric, they have zero emissions. Before you're driving that car, there's a lot of carbon emissions that go into it, right? With hydrogen, I think right now in this current format, it's that same conversation. Is that how it's being made? Is it really green? What is the carbon intensity that is with it? So I think what would be a great way to shift this is a lot of the focus is going on what green hydrogen is, which to make green hydrogen, you get it through electrolysis. Electrolysis is very energy intensive, of course. Of course, it's green because you're using solar and wind power to create hydrogen oxygen from water, right? It sounds fantastic. But there's many other forms that will be able to create hydrogen that right now are not classified as green hydrogen, but they're not carbon intense. They have much less carbon than other, when you're talking about fracking or mining lithium, things like that. So there are companies out there that are manufacturing what's called gray hydrogen, but it's just gray hydrogen because it's not using electrolysis. But they're turning, for example, methane and garbage and plastics into hydrogen. So instead of taking carbon, of course there's going to be carbon used in that, but they're actually taking away space from landfill, and now they're saving that. So there's pros and cons to absolutely everything.
And I heard about pink hydrogen. Tell me about
pink hydrogen.
What is that?
I mean, I think there's hydrogen of all colors of the rainbow at this
I know
point.
blue and pink.
I know
blue,
pink,
and
gray,
green, but
yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
So there's a lot of different forms. I think once the terminology changes from the color scale to a carbon intensity scale, that's when we're really going to be able to make strides in this, because electrolysis right now, it's not the end all and be all. It's a form of getting there. And right now, I think the most important is just to get as much hydrogen out there. And then we can start talking about, okay, how can we make it greener and better in the future?
So Horizon Educational, talk to me a little bit about, are you a training company or what?
So what Horizon Educational is, we're an educational company that we distribute science and STEM kits all around the world, focused on all forms of renewable energy. So that means wind, solar, alternative fuels, even kinetic energy, things like that, with the main focus being hydrogen. And so we distribute these through K through 12 schools, and also we have some university level trainers and some industrial level trainers for higher end scale. But the whole goal is just to get young people interested and motivated in clean energy. We use hydrogen because we want to be separate from everything else, and we want to do something unique that no one knows. Like I mentioned before, everyone knows AA batteries, everyone knows batteries. Not everyone knows hydrogen. So now they're learning about it in school, taking it home, talking to their parents about, I'm learning about this hydrogen technology, and these same parents are now learning about, okay, I can actually drive a hydrogen car now. I can drive a hydrogen fuel cell car. And so our whole goal is just to engage and motivate, and hopefully these students someday will be able to choose a career or a degree path following, what they're interested in, which is clean energy, whether it's engineering, or marketing. I mean, we even have now students coming on and they want to be content creators, and they see that from what they've learned in our programs and our STEM kits is that they can take the knowledge, put it on social media, and they're engaging with some people from around the world and educating them now, and they're making money on this by making fun videos. It's great.
They're influencers, making money on it.
They're
Excellent.
influencers now.
Tell me about the foundation. I know I walked by here at RE Plus, I walked by the Grand Prix, and I heard a lot of the announcing, but you have a bunch of people racing cars. Are they electric cars?
So they are fuel cell electric cars.
Okay.
So these cars, so what you heard over there, that is actually, it's called the Horizon Hydrogen Grand Prix Pro. Okay. So it's part of the Horizon Hydrogen Grand Prix series. What the series is, it starts all the way from age 7, so elementary school, where students build small cars powered by hydrogen, and they create the hydrogen using electrolysis with a small electrolyzer. So they effectively make a car that runs on water. And so this is, elementary students, their first touch of saying, wow, I can make a car that runs on water. We're also now introducing a new program this week, which is essentially taking the Pinewood Derby that we all know from the Scouts, and instead of it being a gravitational car, it's going to be a car that's powered by hydrogen. That's going to be a completely international program. So teams here in California can compete with teams in Australia, wherever they are, because it's the same track everywhere in the world. They upload their results, and they compete without ever having to leave their classroom. They have the international component and the clean energy component in their school or in their scout troop. And then what's over there is the H2GP Pro. And that is our flagship program where we have teams in 20 countries competing and building remote control cars powered by a hydrogen fuel cell and competing in a series of endurance races ranging from 2, 4 to 6 hours long. Each team, they get a limited amount of batteries and a limited amount of hydrogen, and they have to survive the whole 2, 4, 6 hour long race. So they're surviving crashes, they have to survive endurance, other teams maybe trying to, aim for something, and it's completely student run. So once the race comes, the coaches are not allowed to interact with the students. So if their car breaks down, catches on fire, something breaks, it's the students that are putting it together. So that's been organized in partnership with Horizon Educational, and now the H2GP Foundation will be starting to take that over in the U.S. To help with gathering some funding to be able to grow this program, to get this in more hands of the students, to be able to create a better future and make it fun. So,
well, it's interesting because when I went by there, not only were the people competing, there were people that was like a Grand Prix. You had a lot of people very interested in it that probably had no idea that it was a hydrogen Grand Prix, but well done. It got a lot of, are you continuing to do it, or are there going to be?
Yep, so this will be going on for the next few days. We started this back in 2015. It's grown every year. Of course, you had to take a hiatus during COVID, but it's grown every year, and now having it here at RE Plus in front of 50,000 people is unbelievable. And people are loving it. Spectators are very excited. A lot of them are saying, what's hydrogen?
I know.
We're having that conversation,
yeah.
Wow, you can use hydrogen as a fuel, and it's just really opening the minds of the attendees. And the most exciting part is these students, they are 15 to 18 years old. They now have access to the 1,000 exhibitors that are here. So they're able to go walk around and say, wait, I'm learning this in school, and you're actually doing this as a career? How do I get involved in that? And so companies are opening the doors to these students and offering them internships and speaking with them, mentorships. It's really an amazing program, and thank you to RE Plus and of course, you guys and APC Media for having us and allowing us to be here and motivate these students.
Max, it is a delight. You've done a great job with presenting it well.
Alan.
Thank you for the future.
Absolutely. Thank you.